Cool. Hello, world, and YouTube, and Facebook, and Twitter, and Instagram. We're all live on everything now, hopefully. Today we are joined by Carl from Digital Dinos.
Hello.
Thank you for popping along. Just wanted to get Carl along because he appears at lots of the networking events we go to. Is very heavily, I say very heavily involved in LinkedIn Local. Less so possibly nowadays.
Was still involved.
Still take part, yes, and obviously spends most of his time dealing with digital marketing at Digital Dinos. Digital marketing, Digital Dinos.
This is true.
So perhaps if we can just kick off a bit with who you are in the background, a bit of info about the company, really, that'd be good.
Of course, yeah. So my name's Carl, like I say. I run Digital Dinos. We're a digital marketing company. We work with a range of clients to mainly build websites and do social media advertising. Those are our two main focuses, so getting in front of new people with paid advertising on social. Started with my business partner Reece about 3 years ago. There's 4, 5, 6 sometimes of us.
Oh, wow, okay.
So we're getting there, but yeah, still trying to grow the company. And
you're based in, is it Lakeside?
Yes, based in Lakeside, North
Harbour. How did you get to Lakeside? What was you mentioning you started off without an office and survived for quite a while without an office. Was it like 6 months, you said?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we started off, where did we start off? Started off in college with a given office, which was very kind of them.
At the office, was that?
Yeah,
at the college. Wow, okay.
And then we moved into a room that was interesting, had some damp issues, some wall not connected to the ceiling issues, things like that.
Oh, we had one of those. One of our first offices, Matt would remember. Matt, one of our first offices, which is really nice because we got it for, it was like ridiculous, like £500 a month or something. So it's nice. A good like starting office. And the chap that we were renting off, because it was one of the warehouse units behind Sainsbury's, so it's a massive warehouse.
Oh, yeah.
And had an office space on the front that he didn't need because he was running a indoor roller skating rink.
Oh, okay.
So we had which is incredible because we had a bar behind us.
That's
so it was awesome. And he was not the tidiest of persons, I think, is the nice way of putting it.
You tripping on rollerblades, or what was there?
So we had, he was very into his pizza. So we had pizza boxes like everywhere. And it was a fantastic opportunity, it got us like our first office. But messy pizza everywhere. And I think the first day Erica started? The first day Erica started, we literally had maggots in the office.
Maggots in the office?
Yeah, because the pizza was left for so long. Oh, no, it was chicken. No. There was like a chicken in a bag.
Christ, that's not good.
Lesson well and truly learned. So maybe it wasn't quite as bad as that with your first office.
Yeah, I'm trying to take it back now. It wasn't as bad as I thought. We were based there for a few months. And then we decided we were going to leave college because we wanted a more professional image. And although they really helped us out, it was difficult. You couldn't meet clients at your office. You couldn't bring them through A-level students into your office.
Yeah.
So we moved out, and then we moved into a communal space in a building nearby, and just worked from there all the time. Like 12 hours a day, just sat in these booths on the sofas, anywhere we could find, free Wi-Fi.
Well, that's really good. There's a lot of those coming up now, like Village Hotel.
Yeah.
They have that whole kind of business centre, don't they, where you can...
Business club.
If you don't have an office, business club. So if you don't have an office, you can go along to there and you can sign up to be a member and you get access to all of their seating spaces. Yeah, private booths you can sit in, have meetings. They've got private meeting rooms, I think, as well.
You can rent out their little classroom rooms.
It's a whole I wish I had that when we were starting up. That made things a lot easier.
Really cool. We didn't have that, unfortunately. We had these, I don't know how to explain, almost like a big coffee shop, kind of.
Yeah.
Just without the coffee. So there's loads of seats everywhere. And all different companies and people come work there, but we were just constantly in there like it was our office. And from there, kind of tried to grow it, built up enough revenue to pay rent somewhere decent, and moved into Lakeside.
But that actually, the sitting in the big coffee shop or whatever it was, worked quite well for you because there was the same people in there every day generally, I guess, wasn't it? So you got to meet a lot of the business owners and people just because you picked up a fair bit of business.
We did
from being in Lakeside now, I think, as well, haven't you?
Being in Lakeside, picked up a good amount of business, which is great. Some really good companies there, but we also met some really important mentors of ours, which have really changed the business.
Oh, okay.
From being in that area. So there was one guy who just walked past all day long. We always knew who he was and what company he owned, but we were a bit like, can't say hi to him. He's a busy guy. Can't say hi to him.
Right.
And then one day, I remember I said to Joe, who worked for us at the time, and my best mate Joe and Reece, and I said, I'm gonna say hi to him. I'm gonna be like, right, this is what we do. How are you? Can we help you? And just before I went to stand up, he came over to us and was like, what do you do? Why are you here?
Why are you here every day of the week?
Yeah. Why are you always here and not in an office? And that's how we met, and he's become so integral to us.
Wow, okay, incredible. And so obviously the business has kind of grown. from that process you're going through at the moment, and you're now in Lakeside. Your team. So it started with just you and Reece.
Yeah.
And I know Jess has been working for you for pretty much over a year now.
Yeah,
I think,
she's been there a year this month, next month, something like that. Yeah.
And she won Apprentice of the Year, was it? I think at the Portsmouth
did.
News, because we also won an award.
Well done.
Little
Yeah.
note. And you got a couple of other people kind of starting for you recently, or?
Yeah, we've got Jack, who's 17, absolute genius.
Yeah, I think I remember you two, both of you talking to me about how, not to kind of explode his head or anything, but saying how clever he was.
Yeah, I mean, we do say to him, I don't know how you do this,
Mm-hmm.
but he's a really good guy, and we've got Anthony helping us at the moment as well.
Is that just a real mixture of, cause being like digital marketing, it's quite a wide range of skills, from like knowing all your pay-per-clicks and your web design, all the coding side of things? Is that just a general mixture amongst everybody?
Yeah, Jack's coding. That's where Jack
Cool.
specialises. Jess is the content, organic, starting to get into ads. Reece wears every hat,
Yeah.
and I'm the sales.
Cool. Good, thank you. So, what are one of my next questions I had? Any lessons learned along the way, particularly, I guess, as a new business, a relatively new business, being 3 years in? I still feel like we're a new business, being 8.5 years in.
Well, I think we always do, and there's always problems, just with more zeros on the
lessons learned every day.
Yeah.
Is there anything in particular since starting up that you've particularly learned, or if there was one piece of advice you'd have to give, would there be? What would that one piece be?
I think just processes are so
Cool.
key. We got so many clients on. I mean, if I came to you and I said, right, Pete, build me a website, it's like, where do you start? What website? What colours? What's your favourite colour?
Which theme? I'll go to a website.
Yeah.
Go online. WordPress theme.
Exactly. And then where do you go?
We don't sell websites.
There's no. We do. There's no process, and the problem is no competitors are going to give you that process because they
Yeah.
want you to know.
Yeah.
Your mentors are unlikely to be in the same industry, so you can't get it from them. And it's the same with your friends. So you've got to figure out. And
That's an interesting one, actually. You
Yeah.
mentioned about competitors not be willing to help, which they generally aren't, but definitely in the IT industry. So there's quite a few of them. IT industry, we're generally guided by. There's some big players that have all like the help desk software and support software and things, and they will have big events where everyone will come together and generally share ideas, because it's not as bad, because you're not all in one room. You're not all competitors, because it's people from all over the country. And where we're very regional based, we're focused on Hampshire and West Sussex. I don't mind going up to like London or Milton Keynes to talk about IT, because we're helping them to grow their businesses like they are helping to grow ours. Is there anything like that for kind of digital marketeering? Nothing?
There's not really. And I suppose it's because a lot of your services, I suppose, are on site, so you've got to travel to different places. Whereas us, we can work with someone in America tomorrow, and we have done. So
True.
there's no sort of boundaries where you can't work in Scotland because you're in Portsmouth, so therefore we can help each other.
Yeah.
It's like we can work with anyone. So, and digital marketing is very technique-based, method-based, and it takes a long time to figure that out and really how to use algorithms and best optimize ads and that kind of thing. And the time spent doing that, if you just give it away,
Yeah.
it's a real kind of trade secret almost.
I saw, where was it? It must have
difficult.
been, it was either on Reddit or it might have been a Facebook group. I'll have a look. And there were people, I'm sure the question got asked of someone's onboarding process for, I'm sure it was a website as well.
Yeah.
So that it's kind of in secluded groups, people are starting like sharing the information.
Okay.
But that I think is geared more particularly towards the Uber very first startups. Whereas you, I would say, are more established, being that magic kind of. Is it 3 years? Is it like the first year or the first 3 years? If you survive the first 3 years, you're doing very well.
We had an interesting one. We've been registered for 3 years in July, but we really started gunning it about a year and a half ago.
Ah, okay.
So we started when we were both at college. Reece and I were 17, 18. And then Reece had a full-time job as a digital marketing apprentice, hence how he knows more about digital marketing than I. And then I was going to uni. So we were there for a while. I dropped out at Christmas after 6 months because I'm just awful at education in general. Anything that's got a test or a score, I'm horrendous.
Aren't people that
at.
drop out of education the most successful generally in business, from everything
We'll
I seem to read?
We'll see how that goes. The ones you hear about might be.
I actually got a U in my computing course at college. You might not know
Did
that.
you?
So I went to South Downs, and I did sound engineering. I did BTEC in sound engineering, which was really fun because one of my courses, one of my things, the coursework I had to do was put on a gig. It's like awesome.
Cool.
I can put on a gig. I can get some bands. I can sell some tickets and raffle prizes, which is incredible. But my parents were very much, no, you need to do something proper, something that's actually going to be worthwhile to you. So then I did computing, and which started off as, and it was one of these, like, it was sold to me as like lots of hardware, lots of software, like networking, cool, that's really interesting. And then it got into like programming, and it turned out it was very, very heavy on programming. And when I say programming, it was like Visual Basic, where you get a sheet of code and you're told to copy that sheet of code onto the screen. So I didn't actually learn anything. You're just copying and pasting, just off a sheet of paper.
Without copy and pasting, yeah.
So, and I think possibly everybody bar one person got a U in that year.
I feel like question needs to be asked of the teachers more than you there.
Yeah, possibly. Quite possibly. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. Probably won't go into that too much. Yeah, it's just one of those funny things that I'd never intended to do IT at all. It was something I fell into. It was I did a lot of online gaming when I was younger. I was the typical teenager sat in a dark bedroom until like 4 a.m. playing games.
Yeah, we've all done it.
So I don't know. Were you at all into like web design or marketing or anything? Like, what did you do at college? What like courses were you studying?
At college, I did courses that made me sound much smarter than I really am. I did law, economics, and biology.
Law, wow, okay.
Yeah, so law was taught by a guy called Dave, who I actually loved, and then economics with Andy, who again was great, and biology, who actually my stepmom taught me.
Okay, wow.
So I was like, well, might as well go for that because she, can help me out.
So what was the plan to go into law originally? Was that
I fancied it, and then realised it's a lot of reading, and I'm not very good at, like I say, reading and education, that kind of thing's not for me.
Yeah.
I never really had a plan. I just thought, I'll go to uni or do whatever I fall into. But then I started basically, I worked at Lidl when I was at college, and I wanted to take my mum on holiday. She really wanted to go to Rome. She'd never been. So I was like, I'm not making enough money at Lidl. I need to do something. So I started this kind of training thing. So I'd train local businesses on social media marketing, get them all in for a 2-day course. First course was theory for the day, like this is how it all works, this is what you need to be doing. Second day was setting them up, and I'd bill them for 2 days and take the money from that. I thought that'd be a really great way to do it. And then it got to the day, and I had like no one signed up, and there was very few people, and I thought, not sure. And it went, we got some stuff done, but wasn't really a viable business. But I learned a huge amount about digital marketing from that.
And actually like running the business as well, like getting people to attend and like sign up, and the payment side of things as well, and how that's all going to work.
It was such a good training process to go through. That was my first run in with digital marketing. I was actually really like this. And just carried on learning from there. Just after that was when Reece and I met. As I say, he was digital marketing apprentice who had more knowledge than I did. I was trying to catch up. But that's how it first started, was just learning. Google was our best friend.
Very much so.
Reece had the proper qualifications, but I was trying to learn on Google. And we went from there, really.
I would very much say that Google is probably a good 90% of our day still as an IT company.
100%.
That sounds really bad, but it's really, I don't think it is. I think it's the expertise in knowing what to Google, knowing the proper way of Googling.
And how to take the information you get. Like when Jack is in the office and he Googles, why is this not working, XYZ not working? And I see that information, my eyes just cross and it goes over my head and I've got no idea what that means. And he's like, oh yeah, I know what that phrase and this term and that means, so that must go translate to this. And the same goes with digital marketing and websites and that kind of thing. You need to understand it, and then there's a skill to Googling.
There definitely
there really is.
I 100% agree with that. So I guess back to the lessons learned, that was really the processes and knowing how to scale up, because as we've gone through it as well, as you start adding staff, it's all in your head to start with, and you never get it right at the same time. Get it right twice.
No.
So it's getting everything down on paper or in some system where you can actually go, well, this is how we do it.
Exactly.
And particularly as you grow, when you look at things like we're starting to work towards like ISO compliance, where you have to have policies and procedures for like everything, and it has to be all documented, and people refer to it in the right times and things. So it's something we have to do to become ISO accredited. But you kind of have to do it anyway, and it's good to do it because then you get the same thing happening the right time all the time, and it's great that we can get a new starter now. We've got quite a well thought out onboarding process for our new starters when staff join, and get everything, all the systems set up and get all the training and stuff put in place. That's quite well thought out now, I think, and it just makes things a lot easier, because when people start working here, they've generally got all the training and stuff to, even if they're, everyone here is different, like expertise on like senior technical levels. So we'll have people that know a lot and people that don't know a lot, but because all the documentation's there, generally for most issues you can go, actually here's documentation on how I fix this particular issue.
That's perfect, and that's what you really need. Helps. And it also just general profitability of the company. Because we've hashed out our website in the past knowing full well we made a loss on it because we didn't process it enough, and we didn't say, right, you're at this stage now in our process, this is what we need from you next, to the client and also to the employee. And we've definitely missed out on
I think everyone does that. We very much, and we still do it to this day on some projects. We're obviously continually improving that. But yeah, way over or way underestimated cost on some projects to start off with.
It's so easily done though.
Yeah.
So easily done, especially when you're building a quote out and you try and guess rough how many hours and.
But it's lessons learned, and
Yeah,
you kind of grow
definitely.
from it, and it helps you then quote that again in future because you know exactly, you've done it before, so you can now quote it and more accurately, and you've got actual figures of how long you actually spent on things.
That's it, and I think
Definitely
that's
helps.
another lesson learned for us is just to track everything.
Mm.
Like, I mean, the guy I was telling you about that sort of, it's like informal mentor to us. He has got spreadsheets like I've never seen. Like, you launch a spaceship with these things. It's just ridiculous. But he knows everything about his company, like
Yeah.
how much that guy's making in per hour. He just knows everything. And that's what we've sort of tried to replicate because it's so useful.
Okay.
We use like Time Doctor.
Okay.
So you know, if
Not
you're
come
working
across
on,
that.
it's really good. If it's like almost like a solicitor's tool. If you're working on X client's adverts, you start the timer.
Okay.
And then we know how many hours this person spent or this person spent on the project, how much we billed, and if we made any profit on it.
Okay.
And then you can forecast better profit-wise and price yourself better and that kind of thing.
There was a tool that I don't know if one of the guys here was using that it does clever stuff like as you step away from your desk, it knows you've left your desk, so it like pauses the timer.
Oh, awesome!
That kind of because obviously everything we do is time based. It's working on tickets or support issues or projects. Everything is like everyone logs time for everything. But the only difficult thing to that is that you can get so busy doing the work that you forget to log the time.
That's it. That we've come
and
across
even with
that.
like manual calculations of like, well, I'm gonna start the timer for that thing, but then you get a phone call come in, and whilst you're working on it just gets it's multitasking is a big part of what we do. Just trying to kind of juggle everything.
It's comforting you've had the same issues.
Yeah,
we've had like
hugely.
if you work on an advert and a client calls you like my website doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're about to work on the responsive part of it, and then suddenly you're on that. You're working on the responsive bit because they wanted it yesterday, and then you forget you're on timer for the ads, and you get confused and try and edit the time. It doesn't work, and
Have you had any? Be careful about what you say. Have you had any difficult? I'd say difficult customers. Any difficult kind of real challenges that you've gone? Oh, I really wish we hadn't have started this or something. You don't have to name any names, but
no, that's fine. I'm like I say. I mean, it's really easy, and I think especially in our industry to just blame a customer because we have really subjective work, like a website or an advert graphic, or if I like it, you might hate it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this guy's so
design is very very specific, isn't it? Yeah.
And it's like, well, probably is our fault for not listening to the brief enough. And we have had difficult customers, but probably because it was our fault.
Yeah.
And like we just haven't asked the right questions.
That's honestly a really really good way of looking at it. It's something we always try to do. That whenever we make a mistake, or even when one of our guys makes a mistake, it's what have I done to put them in that position to make the mistake?
Yes, exactly.
Not kind of why you made the mistake.
Yeah,
because it's not the right way of looking at it.
Every question you ask a client needs to be helpful to you, not just some vague information. It's people especially when you're selling as well, you need to be saying, right, every question I ask this guy, what is it telling me about him and what I need to provide him to keep him happy?
Yeah.
And so it's not just necessarily when you're servicing it; it's before that as well. So like before you sell it to them, you know exactly what they want. And I'm guilty of not knowing that and just kind of going, here's some ads or a website. And then Reece is like, whoa, I'm not sure what we're doing. And so we've had to learn from that as well and really sort of smooth out both processes on the sales and the operations side of the business.
So I had one story.
Yeah.
I definitely don't need to name any names.
That's cool.
And this might really surprise you and shock you, possibly.
Okay.
So we had a customer, when was it? It was very, very early days. We were in the last office? Maybe, no, the office before the last. We had a very rich customer who was great, and we started working with them, and he was the kind of guy that his phone would break, and he'd roll out this drawer and pick up a brand new phone and be like, that's today's phone.
Fair enough,
It was that kind of level. And we went out, quoted for IT, took over the IT support, and went to do his home. We just installed antivirus and monitoring and everything on his home stuff. Cool. And then all we heard was the next day he'd ripped it all out and complained to us and said, all your stuff is crap, I ripped it all out, it wasn't working, I've had to pay to install my own antivirus on my computers, you now need to pay me for that antivirus.
Wow.
I was like, hang on a minute, you didn't even tell us it wasn't working, we haven't had a chance to fix anything.
Yeah.
Can we try and fix it? And he just wasn't interested, basically kind of threw all his toys out the pram. And so that was fine, and then we went our own separate ways because we decided to leave at that point. And then it must have been about a year or two later, the lady that worked there that was our IT contact, who asked us to come in and do IT support and quote and tender and everything, she then called me to say that she'd left the company and I think she was suing for unfair dismissal or something weird like that.
Oh, right.
And her boss had turned around and was trying to say that the reason why Tekkers was working with them is because apparently we were having an affair, me and this woman,
Wow.
and she was asking me if I would stand up and like stand up in court and
No, really?
like talk about it, and I was
Oh my
like,
God.
I have no interest in getting involved in this. I don't know what's going on. I think I went home and told my wife, and she just laughed at me.
That's insane. We've not
But
had that, I
just
must admit.
like it's just something you'd never think of, and it just blew my mind when she was telling it to me. I just have no idea what to what to say to that kind of thing.
Oh my! And how
But
far in was
and
that?
it gets even better. So that
Go on.
after that all happened, and I said no, thank you. The company then phoned me back to say like, oh, you did such a good job at my boss's last house that he's moved house and wants you to come back and do like the same thing at his house and sort it all out. And I was like, no, no, thank you. I think I actually blocked all their phone numbers from my company phone and my work phone. It just, I don't know, something was wrong somewhere.
That's insane.
It sounds like split personality or something
Well, yeah,
weird to me.
or twins. One of them's evil, one
Yeah.
of them's not. I don't know what that is. That's insane.
But I just had that noted down as I don't think I've ever told, only apart from the guys here that have probably known about it when we joke about it from time to time. But it's, just nuts. You just don't ever think you get into that kind of thing.
No, I
when
mean,
you start a business.
I mean, we've had issues where we've threatened to take people to court for payments and things like that. They wouldn't pay us for things that weren't actually our fault. Like, as I'm sure you know,
Yeah.
domains and hosting and web addresses and emails, and they're kind of all separate things. But
Yeah.
everyone thinks one person's in charge of the
We've
lot.
had that exact problem very recently.
Yeah, and so we had issues with that. But I mean, they didn't accuse us of having an affair. They just told us they thought we were a bit rubbish, and we said, well, it's not our fault. And then they
So
tried to bill
we've
us.
changed something now. So we onboard new customers, and we've got that onboarding process we were talking about. We never ever thought that we should take over like domain names and web hosting, because you think that that's already been dealt with because they've spoken to a web designer who's doing it all
Yeah.
for them or something like that.
You'd assume so,
Apparently, that's not the case.
right?
Which we learned very soon when one of our customers' domains. I think we caught it 7 days before it expired.
Yeah.
Because we have another system that looks at all of our customers, regardless of whether we look after them or not. It looks at all of our customers and tells us like when things are going to expire, particularly like domain names. And so we picked it up 7 days before, jumped on it, tried to get it fixed, and they couldn't find the logins for it. They didn't know who it was sat with, nothing at all.
Yeah.
I think it was about 2 days worth of like downtime where they had no emails from that domain.
Right.
The website went off for 2 days, which was horrendous. We were like, well, it's nothing to do with us because it's the website and domain name which we haven't kind of taken over. Obviously, their point of view, which I can understand, is you're doing our IT, that's everything. So now we've fixed our onboarding process, and that's all fine now. It's all up and running, and we got them kind of a temporary workaround. So now our process is we always ask the question. We always say, can we have your login details, or can we take over your domain name and bring it into our hosting platform? And can we migrate your website? Because we had those customer recently, I think they switched across to us. The website never came up in any form of discussion, and even speaking to their last IT supplier, they didn't say at all that they host their website.
Right.
And yet it came to their cut-off date, and then they switched off the website. We're like,
Right.
well,
That's not useful.
okay,
Thanks,
well,
mate.
we need to go and sort that out now. So now we've done that, so we now pick it up on every single new customer, and we're going going through it back retrospectively and picking up existing customers. It makes it easier for us going forward. Web hosting and domain name management and renewals every year. It's tiny money, but it's good that we can own the whole thing as much as possible.
Yeah.
So when issues do happen, then you go, cool, we'll go and fix it, rather than have to wait a day for someone else to reply back or fix something else. It's just quite a lot of hassle.
And a big part of that is, like you said briefly, people knowing their passwords.
Yeah.
It's so important. So many people we work with, especially with the hosting side of things, and it's so understandable. At the start, we were like, how do people not know this? But you set up a website or a company, and you buy a domain, get a Wix site or something. I don't know what it would be, and you build it and job done. You never look at it again, and so you don't know it. But if you know your password, it's just so much easier.
We always try and do domain name renewals every year now,
Good idea.
because if you do them every 5 years or 3 or whatever, then you've probably forgotten the password by 5 years' time.
True.
Or they've left the company, or someone else was dealing with it, or the company's changed hands or something. It's at least every year you're like, it's an annual renewal. It falls in line with all of your like software updates, renewals, warranties, like everything else. It's just you don't forget it.
Yeah.
It's quite nice.
We once had an email address for our advertising account on Facebook, which is obviously like 50% of our work, go to an email address of someone that left and wasn't working there anymore, and the email shut down. So all of our
Clever.
receipts, all of our notifications, everything was going there. And we had no idea of how to like get into that because we lost the email and we didn't know the password for it. It was his password, and so we had to set up the email again or something. And I don't know
Re-add
what
it
we
to
did.
it or something.
Yeah,
Do you have a password manager now?
we do. We've got an encrypted like thing that manages all of our passwords.
Oh, cool.
Jack hates it. I think he thinks there's a better way to do it, so we might implement that.
So what do you actually use for it? Sorry.
We've got an encrypted spreadsheet.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
On the cloud that we use.
There are some better ways of doing that. Definitely will do.
Yeah, I'm sure there are. We definitely need to look at that. We've got
Even so KeyPass. We started off using KeyPass because that's like it's more encrypted than an Excel password protected an Excel spreadsheet. But you can still have multiple people access it. You can set.
Oh, cool.
Can you set permissions on it? I can't remember actually if you can set permissions. The one we use now, we can literally set permissions on everything. So if we've got different obviously levels of engineers, with the senior people having access to more kind of damaging stuff if they get to it, and the junior engineers having access to that kind of first level, second level, which is really handy.
Yeah, I mean, this sounds much more advanced. We just password protect and then encrypt the spreadsheet, which works for us at the moment, but it's always best to be as secure as you can, especially with passwords.
Definitely, yeah. The main thing I think is as long as it's password and backed up. Is it backed up?
Yes,
well, hey,
it is. It is.
Where's it backed up to?
I'd love to tell you where, but I know it is, but I don't know where.
That's fine. As long as it is, that's the main thing.
Does it? I'm not sure. But yeah, it is backed up.
Cool. So, learn a bit more about you. I've got a question I wrote down about one piece of advice to give to new business owners, whether that's still processes or whether that's anything else in the initial setup of.
I think, especially
you limited company. Did you start as a limited?
Yeah.
Any reasons behind that? Why it was limited straight away? I know 'cause we went limited straight away. There were reasons for us. I don't know if you have.
We did have reasons, and I'm sure I knew them in depth
Forgotten
3
them.
years ago.
I think the main reason I learned was that it was more tax efficient for what we were trying to do, and I think it's easier to kind of have the whole kind of directors thing, and it's a separate entity.
Yes.
If you go like self-employed, then the people can't come after you if you run away with all the money.
Yeah, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was that company over there.
Yeah. But yeah, so we always went limited, and then if you if you want to bring in directors, what have you, then you can kind of it's that whole share holding things.
Yeah, definitely. We went limited. I thought that was a good idea. The only piece of advice that I could kind of think of that's quite relevant to where we are now, anyway, and I wish we'd done, is really figure out much better who you're going to work for, like your target audience. We very much came in of the idea of everyone needs social media. We can work with everyone.
Yeah.
Well, everyone needs a website. That's fine. That's true. We can build a website for anyone, really. But social media-wise, it only works for certain industries, and that's why we do 3-month trials with everyone.
Right. Okay.
You know, you're never going to be like straight away locked into a 12-month or something, because if it's a new industry, especially, we've got a good feeling it's going to work. But if it doesn't, we don't want you spending money for 12 months. And we'll even say, like, during the contract that we could have for a year, we'll say you should probably leave because I'm not sure if you're actually getting your money's worth.
Have you got any is there any proven success with certain industries or anything along those lines?
Yeah, recruitment's a really good one.
Okay.
What we find is B2C style advertising with a really high contract value. So not selling I don't know, hats or something, because that's £5 a go and you've got to make a huge amount of profit, a huge amount of sales.
Yeah.
But getting in CVs, if you place one, is worth a few grand.
Right. Okay. So actually getting CVs into the recruitment agencies rather than the jobs pushing out to the people applying.
Yes. So in a roundabout way. So they've got job boards, and everyone uses these job boards and different ways of advertising. But very few recruiters use social media advertising, which is a way to get CVs that haven't actually been put onto the job boards yet.
Oh, I see.
And people that haven't done that, because you'll go in front of them like, here's a job for you.
Yeah.
And that's why job boards advertise on social media. But the recruitment agencies don't.
Right. Okay. Because I think it's taken care of by the job boards.
Exactly. So we cut out the middleman, do that, get them these unique CVs that none of their competitors will have, so they can sell that to their clients.
Right. Okay.
You know, if we get you 30 CVs for a really niche job and you place one of them, even if it's your standard fee, you've made a return for that month.
Is that, I guess, Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook and Instagram work really well for that.
And Instagram. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you get much from LinkedIn at all?
Yeah, LinkedIn's a really good one, especially if you're looking for B2B business. If you use, for example, I'm sure you know Lead Forensics. They're quite a good tool to use in conjunction.
Okay.
So we've got a really good method of getting businesses to your site and then identifying the business with Lead Forensics. But because we use a special link, we can identify the exact person. So Lead Forensics can identify the person, but sometimes struggles.
Right.
You have to pay more, whether it's going to be, I don't know. But
because it has it works off your IP address, I think, Lead Forensics, without getting too technical. So I think if a business pays for a static IP address, then you can kind of link that to the business. Whereas if it's like a dynamic IP address, it could be anybody, because the next time they log on, it could have changed and gone somewhere else. So I guess that's where it's got difficulty on knowing who's who. Yeah.
So we can help to join the two and identify the exact job title of the person that's been on there. And you know who's contact. So if the MD at Tekkers has been on our website, I'll give you a call and say, hi Pete.
Cool.
What can I tell you?
Stalkery.
Yeah. How did you find our website?
Do you get good results with that? Well, I guess you must do.
Yeah, we do. We're just about to start a new one with a recruitment company to get clients. So the other side of the business.
Yeah.
But that'll be exciting. Looking forward to doing that.
Excellent.
That's a local company called Parker Shaw down in Southampton.
Awesome.
Really good guys, so look forward to doing that.
I think I've run out of questions to ask. I don't know if anyone else has any questions. People
Ask away.
don't know Carl as well as I do.
My favourite colour's blue, if you want to know.
What do you like doing in your spare time?
In my spare time?
It's not LinkedIn local or networking.
Yeah. I spend a lot of time around my other half's house. Her mum's got 3 children now, so we look after them a lot of the time.
Busy, yeah.
And I like to go to the gym if I can, if I find the time. I like to do that.
Have you got a gym at Lakeside?
They don't. They've got one at Village Hotel.
Okay.
Leaf Forensics actually have a gym in their office because they're based at Lakeside.
I've seen that.
Which is
But
unbelievable.
it never gets used though, does it? Or does it actually?
It does. It gets,
okay.
Because we actually worked. We'd been in the office for a little while before. We sort of milled about in there. And you'll be tapping on your computer and someone next to you is going for like a 5K record or something. And it's a really weird situation, but it really
works. They have
works.
a shower there as well.
They have a shower.
Hopefully they do, yeah.
Yeah, they have a shower at Lakeside. But it really works. They love it. All the guys there love it. And a few people that go to
it's really good for you because
gym,
it's one of the, I cannot get up early at all. Well,
you're not a morning person.
I get up early. I get up at like 5 o'clock now because I've got kids, but
That's early.
I'm not a morning person at all.
Okay.
I'm quite happily, and that's part of my issue is I still stay up till midnight.
Yes.
And then I'll wake up at 5, so I get like 4 or 5 hours sleep.
I'm the same. I'm midnight till 6. That's mine.
Yeah,
but
so
the thing is, I find
if a lot better.
Yeah, I find if I sleep more than 6 hours, I get too tired. Like I enjoy the sleep too much.
There's no such thing exists. You can never be too tired.
I just want to sleep forever. If I sleep past 6 o'clock, I'm like, this is really nice.
I used to, when I was a lot younger, I was literally, and actually even when I met my wife, we were still sleeping in. Well, I was still sleeping until like lunchtime on Saturdays.
Good.
I could quite easily do that. Like 10 o'clock, go to bed at midnight, wake up at midday. Incredible.
That sounds like the dream.
Wish we could do that.
Yeah, sadly not. But yeah, gym, looking after children at the moment.
Cool.
And that's about it, really. I don't have a huge amount of spare time, unfortunately.
Well, that's the thing. I find that now being a business owner, you go home, you're like, oh, I'm just going to get my laptop out and do a little bit more work and make a bit more money.
That's the thing.
And it's just like, a never-ending cycle.
It's ridiculous. We're there usually like anywhere from 10 to 12 hours a day, just sat in the office, and it's like, well, what do you do outside of that? Get ready to get into the office, and then and then get ready to go to bed to go into the office again. So you don't do a huge amount, but it'll be worth it, I'm sure. But yeah.
Cool. I think we'll probably leave it there for today.
Cool.
I'll say hello to David Kemshaw, who commented a while ago. If you're still watching, hello. If you've got any questions for Carl or Reece, then drop a message into our Facebook chat or LinkedIn chat or YouTube chat or whatever platform you're watching on, and I'm sure they'll have a nosy over and reply back.
Yeah, we will do. Get back to you.
Thanks for stopping by.
No worries. Thank you for having me. Amazing setup.
Thank you very much. We'll give you a quick tour in a second.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Just walk straight into the room and been sat down. So, no, thanks for your time, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Cheers.